Do you know how powerful you are?
Welcome to the Risepreneurs Podcast.
Welcome to Risepreneurs.
Reshaping and elevating your mindset to help you achieve what you believe.
Sometimes we don't even see our own greatness. You can't be what you can't see.
And connecting Black cultures to build a community of talent and success.
Black people need to realize that they are assets. You are an asset.
When we rise, you rise.
Come together as a group.
This is Risepreneurs with Terrell Simmons.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Risepreneurs. Man, in this episode, I get to talk to my sister, Monique. Her story, I wish I would hit record when we was getting to know each other, because one of her parents is German, one of her parents is Nigerian, and then she grew up in U.S. culture. So she had like three cultures going on, and we had an interesting conversation about that offline. But she is just an amazing human being, amazing soul. And she speaks German fluently, by the way, too, which probably blows people's mind if you ever get to know her on that level. But we had an amazing conversation about just her journey into entrepreneurship, marketing, and how she's been able to scale her business through consistency and just taking that leap of faith and jump, and some of the things that you can do if you want to start a digital marketing business as well. As we see so much trend and transition going on in the world today, as COVID has made us virtual in so many aspects, and how this industry is growing and it's needed, especially for small businesses. So we had a great dialogue around that too. So I guess without further ado, we'll just jump into the episode. Here's Monique, ladies and gentlemen. How did you find me? How did we find each other, I guess?
I found you on Podmatch, right?
Oh, is that how we found each other?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That matching platform has been really good. I got to meet a lot of amazing individuals just doing things in the space. So a little bit about me. I'm originally from DC, and I live here in good old sunny San Diego right now. And I started this platform just so I could tell more stories of, just amazing Black entrepreneurs and African entrepreneurs all across the diaspora just doing brilliant things like yourself.
Right.
Because I did a lot of mentoring the past 5 years and building workforce programs out here. And a lot of these young folks, even adults, they have limiting beliefs about what they could do, what we can be, and so forth. And so I just wanted to show and highlight more of us doing us, right, in these different spaces. So thank you for connecting with me and going on this journey with me. I see you got your own podcast and all that good stuff.
Right. Yeah, I'm podcasting too. Right. I'm all about creating content, and sharing what I've learned, and yes, also being a guest on other podcasts like yours today. So yeah, really enjoying it, and I want to, pay it forward and just share. Yeah.
I love it. So, a series of these questions is just kind of getting to know you, getting to know your career journey, how you got to where you're at today. And then, we'll take it wherever it goes.
All right. Cool.
All right. Everybody, welcome to the Risepreneurs Podcast. It's Terrell Simmons here, and I got a lovely guest in the building. Are you still in St. Petersburg, Florida? Is it Florida?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Born and raised, or?
No, I moved there. I moved there in 2019. I was born and raised in Germany. Actually.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Germany?
Yeah, that's right.
Guten Tag.
Oh, guten Tag, yeah.
So how'd you come out here to the States? Like, tell me about that journey.
Yeah, I have an interesting background. So I'm mixed. My mom is German and my dad's Black, right? So I've been going back and forth, and I've been visiting the States for vacation before a couple of times. And in 2019, I've decided to move back for good and come to Florida. Right. Yeah.
And then making it happen ever since.
Right.
All right. So tell us a little bit about what you do, because it looks like you do a little bit of marketing, SEO. And how'd you get into this? Like, were you always an entrepreneur, or did you do it full time at a company? Like, give me your story.
Yeah, that's right. So I've always loved marketing and entrepreneurship. I've been fascinated with business and all things business ever since. And after high school, I went to business school, and then I got a job as a working student for a corporation in the marketing department. And I just fell in love with marketing even more the more I did it, because a lot of times, people think that the perception that they have of something or the idea that they have of something is not really how the reality actually is. But I love the reality of marketing and the day-to-day. So after that, I got a full-time job in the corporate world, and I been doing marketing for 5 years prior to me starting my digital marketing agency. And I've seen a lot of things in the meantime. I've been working for a startup too before that. So yeah, I got a bunch of different experiences when it comes to digital marketing. So I have like a wide skill set of different things when it comes to digital marketing. And yeah, and that was just perfect to finally start my agency then. So that's what I did in 2019 too. I started Dragon Digital Marketing.
Awesome. So, and Dragon Digital Marketing, what does it specialize in? Does it do the whole marketing experience, or tell me about what?
Yeah, we do inbound digital marketing for small businesses who want to build an online presence. So we created a lot of content, and then we distribute it and promote it across different channels. So that's what we do. No advertising, no cold calling or email outreach or LinkedIn DM spamming, things like that. But yeah, we do just content, social media, blogging, podcasting, videos, and all of that. Just, building a community with great content, email newsletters too, and then optimizing that content. And that's, why we do SEO as well, because we want to optimize, we want to improve the conversion rate, we want to just leverage that content to the fullest. And that's what we do.
Yeah, and I noticed that you said that on the website. Like, we don't do the spammy stuff, no spammy stuff.
Right.
But, and that's so important, especially in our community. I don't think small businesses realize how important it is on the marketing front. We think that, if there's something missing in the community and we build it, that they'll come. But they're not going to come unless you market it right. So how important is that marketing for your business?
That's such a huge misconception. Yeah, people will not just come if you build something great. You have to market it. And it's just fundamentally important, because how are people, going to know that you're even out there, that you even exist? You have to build awareness, and you have to cut through the noise. And there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of competition, people doing similar things. People who just, have better marketing and manage to put themselves out there more. So even if they do something, they have an inferior product to yours, or do something that's inferior to what you do, people will still buy from them just because they know that those people exist and they know what they're all about. So you have to constantly communicate that. Marketing is a lot of communication too, and just spreading the word. So it's not just, getting people to buy, but there's a lot of different goals and different types of campaigns that you can run just to spread the word and get that awareness and just establish yourself in the industry, be seen as a thought leader, and all of that. So that's really, really important. Yeah. If you don't have marketing, it's really hard to build a business, because it really is the prerequisite for getting sales. It primes people and it gets people ready to buy, because it educates them, it inspires them. All of the messaging and the communication, all of that is marketing, right?
Yeah, you speaking my language, sis. That because we're in our marketing phase right now, because we just started early this year. Now the jump into entrepreneurship is always for some people it's hard. I'm not sure what it was for you. So tell me about that jump, going from that corporate structure, that 9 to 5, and jumping. Like, how did you do it? What made you do it? And what was that transition like?
I've been planning it for a very long time. So I am big on planning. I've had my plans and my structures and my spreadsheets and what I want to do. And I've had my business name. I thought about that like months before, and I thought about the colors and all of that. So I practically had everything put together and just sitting around, but I still was procrastinating. And then I was like, what am I waiting for? The best way to do things is just learning by doing, and let's just jump into the cold water and see what happens, because you have nothing to lose essentially. I was an after hours entrepreneur in the beginning. So I did it as a side hustle first. So I didn't actually went ahead and quit my job and went all into Dragon Digital Marketing, but I did it on the side for a while, a little bit over a year. Until I made it my full-time thing even. So that just, gave me gave me the security. So it wasn't, it wasn't all that bad. It was a nice experience. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was a lot of long hours and a lot of work, definitely, but it was all worth it, and it pays off. I think if you're passionate about what you do, you're going to enjoy the whole process.
Yeah, that jump must have been hard for you, because I know a lot of planners in my life that have a hard time just jumping without
right.
knowing exactly. What did you have to do mentally to get you to jump? For those who like to plan all the time, and they, that old saying, analysis paralysis.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like some of my planners that I know in my life, they have that. They overly plan to they plan themselves out of jumping.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I just had to remind myself that it's not about perfection. It's about getting started, and it's about progression and learning and just doing it. So I eventually just did it. The time was right. I started to, get tired of my job anyways. It was like that phase where I didn't like it anymore anyways. And I was like, yeah, now is the time to get started and just do it.
Yeah, so now tell me about this name, Dragon Digital Marketing. How'd you come up with that name?
Yes. I wanted to have a descriptive name. I wanted to have digital marketing in the company name so everybody can see at the first sight what the company is about, and they don't have to guess, oh, what's that mean, or what's that company about? So that was really important to me. And then I put the name Dragon in there because I just like dragons. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, Dragon Digital Marketing. That's a good name.
Okay. All right. I love it. So, here's where I want to go to next. For those people who don't know you, and I mean, you got everything on the website and so forth, but I always love asking this question to people, and you could take it to as far as wide as you want to go or wherever it takes you. But who is Monique? I know that sounds deep. Who is Monique?
Right.
For people who don't know.
I'm just a girl with big dreams, I guess, and I'm executing on them. So yeah, I'm constantly working on some projects. When I have an idea, I want to make it reality. I'm working on it. I'm trying to find a way to make it happen and just, live my best life. I feel like I want to get the most out of this life and, do everything that I want to do, and I'll find a way to do it, and I'll figure it out. And that's what it's all about.
I'm with you on that. Living your best life, because if you can't live your best life, then what are you doing in life, right?
Yes.
What was your first job? I'm curious. What was your first job?
My first job was a sales job. I was an outdoor salesperson selling insurances for a company, and
that sounds tough.
It was tough. It was 100% commission based. There was no base salary. And it was basically just, you had to do everything yourself, the whole lead generation, find people, get their phone numbers, get their contact information, get recommendations from friends and family and existing customers that you have to always keep the ball rolling. You get, it was a lot of, going from door to door too. So it was tough. But it taught me a lot. I did not like it at the time. I kind of had to do it. That's why I took the job. I just needed it. But now in hindsight, I'm super grateful about the experience. It taught me a lot about sales, about communication, about reading people, getting to know so many different people, and just, talking to them, interacting with them. So it was a good experience in hindsight.
Yeah, I always tell my youngsters, or even people who are transitioning their career, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And every job that you get can have a lesson if you really hone in on the lessons that you can learn from it. In that first job that you had, you mentioned a couple of them, but what was one of the biggest lessons that you learned about business, from that first job that you kind of probably still revert to today or use today in some of the things you do? Yes,
I learned a lot about objection handling. And that most people, 99% of people, are not ready to buy the first interaction. No matter how great your presentation is, how great your product is, how amazing your arguments are that you bring up or whatever, people are just not ready to buy initially. You need multiple touch points to prime people and warm them up step by step. And you can't really speed that process up. It's a lot about consistency. It's a lot about, delivering on your promises and just showing up consistently and proving yourself over and over again, and people finding out things themselves, not just you telling them because you're biased. Every company is like, oh, we're so amazing. We're the best out there in the market or whatever. But people have to see for themselves. They need to find, proof, social proof, whatever it is, and convince themselves basically. And then they come to you when they're ready. So that is very, very important. And you learn a lot about what's important to people and how to handle objections and how to approach things, because you might think that things go a lot smoother than they actually go in reality. You need a lot more patience and just the process, how to approach things and be prepared. Don't be disappointed. But yeah, so I learned that early on.
I love that. I love that. What's one good lesson life has taught you?
To me, it's really do what you can with what you have. And just start.
Preach on that. Go ahead.
Yes.
Expand on that. Tell the people why that's so important.
Right. Because, you can never go back to the beginning, but you can take where you are at right now and influence where you're going to be later. You can still reach your goals. You can still influence where the journey is going and get your desired end result. You just have to get started. Oftentimes it's like, oh, if I had that, or if I had money for this, and if I could do that or whatever, you're comparing yourself to other people, or I don't know, just get started and do what you can with what you have and build from there step by step. And you're going to get there.
Sounds like you speaking from experience. How long did it take you to learn that lesson?
Like a year. Yeah. Right.
And what happened in life that made that sink in for you?
Because I was comparing myself to other people who did things for way longer than I have. Like they've been in business for decades, or they like just unrealistic comparisons. You can't do that. You can't, you are you and they are they, and you cannot compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 275 or whatever, So, and especially with social media, you always see people's highlight reel. You can get like a distorted view of reality and what's real and, what's realistic. So yeah, I really had to learn that and just keep going with what I've had. And now looking back, I've came a long way and I have so much more only because I stayed consistent with it and just, I've been gradually building all the time. I think that's so important, and not getting discouraged or demotivated. It's about having a strong reason, because your discipline and your motivation, they will fade. It will go away, right? Everybody knows that. Like, you want to lose weight, you go on a diet, you're so motivated and hyped up in the beginning, and then it fades over time. But if you have a strong reason behind you, that reason will never fade. Like your life goal, your just your core desires, your dreams, your mission that you have while you're on this planet, the vision that you have for a better world or whatever it is that you want to achieve, that is what keeps you going. So you always get your motivation back. Everybody goes through phases, right? We're not robots, we're human beings. So you'll have times where you feel more motivated and you're going to be more disciplined, and times where you're less motivated and less disciplined, but you're going to be able to even be consistent in the first place if you have a strong reason behind it. So don't start your journey of entrepreneurship just for the money because you're hoping to get rich quick, or I don't know, you're chasing fame because you think that that's going to be fulfilling in your life. Things like that, they're not real reasons. So yeah.
A lot of the things you just said resonate with me. It takes me back to a famous saying that I have when I give speeches, or I have another radio show that I do too. And I tell people to do what they love what you do. Don't chase the money, let the money chase you. And what I mean by that is when you're doing things that you love in the service of others and the people that you love, the money will show up because you're adding value in a way that nobody else can. And watch how opportunities show up for you. Now, two things that you spoke on is consistency and having a strong reason. And something I often tell people is like, you have to have a strong why. Why are you doing this? And money can't be that why, right? Are you doing this? Like for me, a lot of the reason why I do what I do is for my little daughter who, I hope that when about time it's all said and done and she enters into society, I would have paved a stronger platform and a way for her so that she can be her most authentic self, because we know how hard that is to be that as a Black woman, in the U.S. and work these corporate boardrooms or government, wherever you go, right? So hopefully she has a stronger foundation to stand on where she can truly do what she wants to do without having to sacrifice who she is, right? And I think that strong why or reason is so important. Elaborate for you. Well, one, what is your why or your reason, and why is it having a strong reason so important? I want you to belabor that point and elaborate on it.
Right. For me, I just want to be a successful entrepreneur because I've been fascinated with that from an early age. I know it's a trend right now. Back in the day, it wasn't. I was like kind of alone with that goal because people weren't like, glamorizing having a company or whatever back then. And that's just my goal. And it's, all about that believing that you can be whatever you want to be if you work for it. Like you have to put the work in and you can get it and you can get there and you can't give up and you just gain that ultimate freedom. That's what it's all about for me. The freedom of being your own boss, having, peace of mind and being able to just put your life in your own hands and make all decisions yourself. And if you fail, which is part of winning, basically, it's normal, then it's, all your fault. You can't, you can't say, oh, that was that person's fault or whatever, but you're really real with yourself. You have to be. And then self-reflection, you're growing a lot. You're becoming a much bigger person with like more insight, that's more reflective and like analytical thinking. And you're always, thinking not just from A to B, but you're also thinking about more long-term consequences like C and D and E and F. And what does that mean, down the road? And you're thinking much more long-term. And I think it has so many benefits in life for me personally. But the freedom aspect, I would say, is the biggest one. Just, I decide when I want to get up in the morning. I decide what types of people I want to surround myself with. I get to build my team. I can choose their characters and personalities. So I'm always around positive people with positive vibes that have the same, beliefs that I have. And we just fit together and match and we can work together and there's no unnecessary stress or conflicts or just things that nobody needs in their lives. So that just makes you so much happier and fulfilled. Yeah, definitely. You're much more positive. You still have energy left at the end of the day because you don't have to deal with, so many annoying things that are just aggravating you. That's my why. That's my reason.
And I don't think people understand how important that is because you can be a better version of yourself. You don't have to have all these stressors, right? You can make better decisions for your life and you can live a healthier life. Health is wealth. You got, I don't know, when you kept saying freedom, I had the Beyonce song in my head, freedom, freedom. You had me on my Beyonce this morning. Consistency. Let's go back to that. Consistency. What does it mean to you to be consistent and why is consistency so important?
Oh, that's so important. Starting like from the beginning, you start your business, you get all of your social accounts, you start with 0 followers, right? Nobody knows you. Nobody's following you yet. Nobody's subscribed to you, but you're still posting consistently every day and you show up, even though you get 0 likes and 0 comments and 0 shares or whatever. But you still have to do it because that's how you attract people in the first place when they have stuff to look at and you have some content out there and they slowly but surely get the idea of what you stand for and what you're all about and what they can expect from you and just set the expectation and establish a brand, basically what you stand for, what your mission is, what they're going to get. And they get to know you, as a person too, and your personality and get to decide whether they agree with that and their beliefs are aligned with that, and they decide to trust you. It's that know, like, and trust factor or not. So you have to show up consistently, and everybody starts like that. Everybody starts at zero and builds from there. And it just takes time, and you have to be patient with all things, really. So you can't expect to see huge successes overnight, but you have to be consistent, and it can take a long time. A lot of times, like for most things, it takes many, many months. It can take much longer than a year even. And you have to be consistent like that to see results. Everybody who wants to sell you a shortcut, it's not true. It doesn't exist.
So true. So true. There are no shortcuts to this thing. So what's some advice would you give to someone who would like to start a career in your industry, like being an entrepreneur in this digital marketing space? Because I think there's room for a lot more of this. As COVID showed us, we could go to a virtual working platform, right? And so I think there's a lot more space and a lot more opportunities for people to get into this space and for everybody to be able to make money in this space. So what's some advice you would give to someone who would like to start a career in your industry?
Absolutely. Yes. It's a requested industry because of COVID. Everything shifted to digital, and there's a huge demand right now. My biggest advice would be get some practical experience. It's great if you went to school, or if you, did a lot of courses and got some certificates from that and all of that. But it's very different to be out there in the field and do the practical work. Like, you'll have to know and see how things work when it comes to websites, when it comes to, everything. It's not just that you can follow the steps like they're written in the book and then you see like the greatest results. You'll have to tweak a lot of things. You'll have to, you just need that experience. It's very, very important. And especially in marketing, practical experience is everything. Yeah. Knowing things from books is not really that important. It's a perfect field to be self-taught. It's really, it's ideal for teaching yourself if you want a complete career change and you want to just pivot into doing marketing. It's ideal for that. You do not have to go to college to be a good marketer at all. It's much more about soft skills and things that you just learn by doing them. So that would be definitely my biggest advice.
So soft skills. All right. So when you say soft skills, are you talking like things like communication and
exactly?
Okay. All right. I like where you're going with this, because I often talk about like sometimes soft skills are more important than the actual technical skills.
Exactly.
Industries. So what do you think has helped you be so good at the soft skills aspect? I assume, growing up in two different cultures helped out with that, and being able to cross-communicate across cultures. But what do you attribute your strong, successful soft skills to?
Just doing it and just caring, talking to people, engaging, always seeking out conversations and learning about other cultures, other people's points of view, just understanding them as people, understanding what makes them tick. And just seeking that out, networking, communicating, being social listening, all of that. And that'll help you so much in marketing. You'll get PR, you'll get, so many things, if you do that the right way. And you'll just learn that by doing it too.
Yeah. So just be like Nike and just do it, everybody. Just do it.
Exactly.
What do you think the future has in store for this industry?
A whole lot. Everybody needs digital marketing. Right nowadays, it's almost impossible to have a business without a website, or to have a business without any online presence at all. Like, you need to have an email list, a social presence. You need to be able to sell your products or services online as well. You can't just rely purely on brick and mortar these days. So, and that goes for every business across all industries. And then because of COVID specifically, a lot of industries have been hit hard, but you have to look at the bright side of it. A lot of industries have been flourishing, and they've been doing really well because of it. think about e-learning and cybersecurity and virtual meetings and telecommunication and fitness, social media, healthcare, home entertainment, all of that, doing fitness at home, Peloton, all these kind of things, movie streaming, home delivery, supermarkets have been booming. And then all of the new technology trends, talking about augmented reality, virtual reality, machine learning, the Internet of Things, marketing automation, like the whole idea of applying software to do things for you that back in the day you used to need people to get those things done, and just being a lot more efficient and leveraging technology and digital media in the best possible way to run your business. And that's what digital marketing is. Digital marketing is marketing your business using digital technology and digital media. And you can do that for every area of your business, right? You can leverage that in every area of your business. And since marketing is so fundamental, which we talked about in the beginning of the interview, because it's like a prerequisite for sales, it qualifies and disqualifies people and it primes people. It's so important to leverage that. So there's a lot, it's a bright future. There's still a lot out there. Yeah.
Now, in COVID, what do you think? Because, I'm pretty sure you looking at the game and you getting customers left and right. So what do you think the customers or the businesses or your outlook of just seeing how the COVID landscape has changed, where some people have got it right, some people haven't? What makes the big difference for the organization companies that get it wrong to the companies that get it right, like Peloton? Who'd have known that, fitness and COVID would flourish with Peloton, right? And whoever else was able to make that pivot or shift.
Right.
But what was the key difference makers you would say in your outlook and experience?
I think, it makes a huge difference, because I think it's going to be very hard, next to impossible, to be able to balance out mistakes that you're making now. If you're not hopping on the train early, and this is not a trend, this is not a fad, this is going to be the new normal. Everything is going to, become more digital. We've seen digitalization before that too, but this has just boosted it a lot more, and made the transition go on a lot faster, because we were kind of forced into adapting to it a lot sooner. But that's all it is. It's just been an accelerator. So I think if you don't go with the time, you're just not going to be able to persevere and make it. I mean, if you look at smartphones, the ones who've adapted it early, they're still here. And all of the old Nokia, Motorola, nobody has those cell phone brands anymore. They haven't been hopping on the train early enough. Or if you think about Kodak and digital photography, they've been like, oh, we stick with like the old school way of photography, and then other brands have been overtaking them. And now it's like Canon and what else? Sony, that are state of the art and that are doing really, really well right now in that industry. So you can see it across many different industries and many different examples. You just have to listen to the market, which brings us back to marketing. Look what the market does. Look what the people in the market, because it's actual human beings, look what they want and need and the environmental conditions around it. And you have to adapt to that. If you're not a first, because it's risky to be a first mover, right? It's risky. Not everybody has the budget to do things, especially when technologies are new. They're also more expensive and things like that. But you can at least be an early adopter if you're not a first mover, or at the latest move with the masses, but you cannot be late. You cannot be a late follower or a late bloomer, because that's going to cost you nowadays. And things are transforming so much faster than they used to back in the day. Like, things are just changing a lot quicker, like almost from week to week, from month to month, new things are coming up. Facebook is changing their advertising policies all the time. Social media platforms are changing how their algorithms work all the time. Apple, now with the new iOS 14 update, is changing a lot of how you can use data and, use that for your marketing intelligence and all of that. So a lot of businesses will have to pivot their strategies, depending on what they've been doing up to now. Based on that. So there's just so many super fast changes going on. You have to be lean and agile, to make it and to be successful. And that is actually a huge advantage that small businesses have over large corporations, because they're oftentimes rigid and it's hard for them to move this big ship around and turn it around into a new direction, versus small businesses. It's a lot faster. It's a lot less, regulations and just bureaucracy or whatever. You can make decisions really quicker, and you can also be more personal and show your face. Who are the people behind your logo, behind your company, behind your brand name? Post a picture of your family if you want to share that, of your children. What are you doing on the weekends? What's going on, behind the scenes? And just let people know and share that side, because people buy from people. We want that emotional connection. We want to follow people who we like and who we can sympathize and empathize with. And those big corporations, they have no face really. So that's a huge advantage that small businesses have. So move quick, be open to new things, be open to change, stay lean and agile, leverage automation and all things digital. And be personal, be human. That's the recipe for success, I would say.
Yeah, and I want to dive into two things you mentioned there about the market, and then also doing business. And people like to do business with a face. And I think since George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, and so forth, there's a lot more people looking to do businesses with Black businesses, right? And I feel our brothers and sisters in Black businesses need the most help in marketing and digital marketing. I don't know if you agree or not. I could be wrong. It just seems to me that they do.
Right.
A lot of these great businesses, whether it be food shops, tax businesses, they don't have the online presence and the marketing that they need to be visible so that people can do business with them. What would you say is the first steps that these businesses should take, like in their first 6 months, just to get a presence, get a footprint, so that people can connect with them?
Right. I would say number one, have a website. And what's really important is that website has the capability to capture information. So you can actually get opt-ins and you can get leads. So people can leave their name, their email address, their phone number, whatever it is, so that you can call them up and reach out later. So don't just have a website that displays some information or really weak call to action, like contact us on your contact page or whatever. But really make it enticing for people to reach out and to want to learn more and do business with you. You can offer something for free, to get people's attention and to increase your chances of, them reaching out to you, for a lead magnet, a free consultation, free ebook, whatever it may be. So that's really important. And then be at least one social platform, because people just spend a lot of time on social media, and it's even, went up. I think it's like 3.5 hours on average per day, which is a lot of time. It's just such it devours our time. Social media, we don't even notice how time goes by. So be on at least one social platform. If you have the time and the resources and the people and the budget, you can be on two. I wouldn't even recommend more in the beginning, because you're just going to dilute all of your marketing power, because you actually have to be present on there too. You have to post regularly. You have to engage with your community, like people's stuff back, reply to each and every one of your comments, and build that community, or else it's useless. You can't just put stuff out there. It's a conversation. You have to be social. You can't just talk at people and put your stuff out there and then not care about it anymore. But you have to be really, really active and engaged. So that's why I recommend only 1 to 2 social platforms. And then I also recommend everybody to have an email list, because you just own it. And you can reach your people whenever you want to reach them, and you're not dependent on somebody else's algorithm or whatever it may be. And it's just a way of direct communication. There's no middleman. Like, you'll send out an email newsletter with updates, and your people, your subscribers who want to have those updates because they signed up for it, they can get that. So that's super important. That's what I would say are really the basics, and then seek out some help if you need help with it. But what's very important is learn some basic stuff yourself too. Don't go, into it all blind because, the risk is high that you're going to get scammed. You're not going to really be able to judge the quality of things and see the differences. You'll get a quote from someone who charges $1,000 for something. And then another person says, oh, I'll do it for $50. And then you'll go with that person, not knowing what the quality difference is, because in your eyes, it's the same thing. You're like, oh, that person does it for $1,000. That person does it for $50. I'm going to get the $50 one, right? I'm overpaying the person who does it for $1,000, but you don't know, the quality of work. There's so much behind it, especially digital marketing, a lot of technical things that you don't even see if you don't know, because it's in the background, it's in the back end that has to be, looked at and considered and optimized as well. And so many things. So, do some basic learning. By no means you have to become an expert at it, but at least have your knowledge be dangerous. And so you're dangerous enough to not be fooled and to not fall for anything, and seek out an expert, ask them the right questions, make sure they can answer the right questions for you. So, you're working with a good person who actually knows what they're doing. And, you're going to see results there and have a really good experience.
Okay, Monique, she encouraging us to stay dangerous, y'all. Get that knowledge, stay dangerous.
Right.
Now, and she practices what she preaches. So, because I looked on your website, you do everything that you say. You got the free stuff on there. I was like, okay, she got free stuff. She got the newsletter I can sign up for. You got everything's on there. Interestingly enough, you chose Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and it looks like Messenger as your platforms. And I know Instagram is a hot platform. What made you go this route and not do the Instagram route?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do. So I do Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Those are my platforms. And personally, I'm also on LinkedIn to build my personal brand. But that's not a Dragon digital marketing account. I strategically do not choose to be in other social platforms like Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, which is super hot right now, all of those, because I really wanted to focus on those core channels. And Instagram is not really known for B2B. It's very visual. It does really well with like beauty, personal care, makeup, traveling, inspiration of home decoration, design, all those kind of things. So what I do in my industry, being in B2B and offering digital marketing, is not really an ideal thing to work really well on Instagram. Then the organic reach on Instagram is not as good as on other platforms. I mean, on LinkedIn, it's just phenomenal. On Twitter, it is still really, really good. And then also the lifetime of Instagram posts is really short. Your posts live from your hashtags are highly dependent on your hashtags, and a lot of hashtags, like 5 seconds and boom, it's buried underneath and nobody can see it anymore. And it's so those are the disadvantages. And I just weigh things out, pros and cons for me. Just didn't make sense to be on Instagram. So I chose not to be on it. And you have to do the same for your business. So just because something is hot, it's trending, and a lot of people hang out there, think about the intent. Why are people on a certain social platform? People on Instagram, they want to be inspired. They want to see beautiful pictures. They want to feel motivated. They're not looking to network professionally or do business or discover a marketing agency, right? That's not their intent. Versus on LinkedIn, that is the intent. People want to see updates from brands and businesses, and they want to build a professional network. That's why they're on there. Twitter is a lot about news and just staying up to date. Like the slogan says, it's what's happening, and it's big in the tech space. So digital marketing, IT, cybersecurity, just web development, everything that has to be with just tech, IT, coding, SaaS companies. They're doing really, really well on Twitter, and the people are just on there, which is why I chose to be on there. And it's also very tech-based, so I can share my knowledge. I can go ahead and be like, hey, pro tip, this and that, check this out. I don't have to design a visual for it and then make sure it stays coherent with my feed. So on Instagram, it's really important when people scroll through, it looks coherent, it follows like a theme, it always looks good. There's so much more that goes into it. So that's why I chose those platforms. And then YouTube is just, you have to do video nowadays. Video, a picture says 1,000 words, and video is even better because it's moving picture. So you have to do video nowadays.
Yeah,
That's why
I
I'm on
know it
YouTube too.
So that's the next move for us to get on YouTube, because we got all this content that like this podcast is being recorded video wise too. So but people like watching it now. So I was like,
Yes.
I have to start
video.
figuring out how to do this video thing. It's just one more thing to my bucket. But after I learn it, I'll probably get somebody that loves and passionate about doing the video thing to help us out and come aboard the team.
Right. You can also repurpose video content in the best possible way. You know, you can make everything out of a video. You can take the transcript and turn it into a blog post. You can just take the audio and turn it into a podcast. You can cut it into like little snippets and share it in your stories and anywhere. You know, you can make so many things out of a video that you cannot do with other content formats. You can take, you know, the key points that you touch upon in the video, make an infographic out of it, like really simple, like 5 things. For example, the 5 key points that I've touched upon right now, make a little graphic out of it. You already have the content. You don't have to do any more research and curate more stuff. You already have it right there in your video because it's got everything. It's got audio, it's got moving pictures, it's got everything. It's like the richest form of medium. So definitely absolutely. Video. I highly encourage it.
Okay. All right. I'm going to get on this video bandwagon, and then I'm going to be tapping into you to pick your brain with more knowledge offline.
All right.
All right. So we could probably do this forever, I'm pretty sure, because your wealth of knowledge and your passion just screams through the mic. But I try to keep this around 40, 50-minute episodes. So it could be, well, I guess whenever people decide to get back to driving again in their drive time. So let's end it on this note. What projects are you currently working on, and where can people find you?
I am working on so many things all at the same time, all the time. Working on a lot of things. I don't even know where to start. I'm working on my podcast a lot right now too, because I'm really passionate about podcasting, and people like it, and audio is hot right now with Clubhouse and everything. So that's probably one of the projects right now.
Are you on Clubhouse?
Definitely, yeah. Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am.
We're going to have to get linked in on Clubhouse, because that's jumping right now too. Like people been speaking me all sorts of rooms, and I'm like, all right, this is another thing I got to spend time on.
That's true.
How do you like Clubhouse? Like, what's your Clubhouse experience been?
I like it. I hope it's going to get more advanced, you know, so that you can stream on there too. And for example, if you have a live podcast, you can stream it across all your socials and on Clubhouse at the same time and have a room, and you just, have more possibilities on there to connect with people. I think, it has a lot of potential. It's very basic as of now, but I like what I'm seeing so far. I hope it'll get more advanced and they'll add more features to it.
Yeah, you know what I love too? That you could just be instantly connected to somebody. Like, I've been in rooms where Oprah's been in, Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart, and you could just easily be connected to. You be called to the stage and talk directly to that person. Like, that proximity just blows my mind. Still, that concept.
That is so great. That's true. It's really unique about Clubhouse.
Yeah, so some amazing opportunities to connect with folks that I probably would have never connected with otherwise. It's really making the world a lot smaller.
That's true.
Yeah. So all right. So go back into your introduction. What else you working on?
Right. So the best way to reach me is through the website. That's dragon-digital-marketing.com. I have a lot of content on there. I have a lot of things that you can grab for free. I have a free branding course. I have an SEO checklist, a buyer persona template, an email marketing campaign planning calendar on there. You'll find all of my social handles and links to the social profiles on the website as well. You can tune into the podcast. It's called the Dragon Digital Marketing Podcast. I give digital marketing tips there for small businesses. So that's what it's all about. So connect with me, reach out. I'm always happy to connect with people.
Yeah, awesome. And then if you're driving and you didn't get any of that, or you're busy, running after the kids. Don't worry, I'm gonna put all that in the notes section. I'm gonna get all of her info and anything that she's got going on. Monique, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for spending time with us this morning.
You're welcome. The pleasure is all mine. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Risepreneurs Podcast.
Thank you for taking the journey.
Be sure to like, comment, and smash that subscribe button. And stay connected with Terrell on and off the show. Follow at Risepreneurs on all platforms.
Do what you love what you do. Don't chase the money. Let the money chase you.